I'm Dave, and this is Austin's Kamado Joe Masterclass.
I've been cooking on Kamado Joes for years, and I've learned a few things the hard way. A neglected grill can mean a frozen shut dome, a torn gasket, or worse. Imagine pulling the cover off your Kamado Joe after a long winter only to find a full-blown science experiment staring back at you. That fuzzy mess inside is mold and will get into the ceramic and taint your food with flavors that you do not want. Mold can grow quickly in a dirty, uncovered grill. If you live in an area with a real winter and will not be grilling until spring, you absolutely need to winterize your Kamado Joe the right way. The good news is that mold and moisture damage is preventable. The goal is to put the Kamado Joe to bed for the winter so that when you open that lid in a few months, it looks as clean as the day you winterized it. Today we're going to walk through the 6 steps to get it done right. First, you cannot put a dirty grill away for the winter. Leftover grease, fat, and bits of food from your last cook will cause mold. So we're going to start with a serious deep clean. The first thing we'll do is a high heat burn off. Step 1. The deep clean. Start by scraping and brushing both sides of your grill grates with a sturdy grill brush. Then load up your firebox with lumped charcoal up to just under the accessory rack. Light the coals, place your deflector plates on the accessory rack dirty side down. Place the grill grates on the top position. Leave the lid and vents open until the coals are getting hot, about 30 minutes. Then close the lid but leave the top and bottom vents wide open. You're aiming for 600 to 700 degrees Fahrenheit. Once it hits that temperature, close the vents slightly and let it run for an hour. The high heat will incinerate all the organic debris off the grates, heat deflectors, and the porous ceramic walls. It's basically sterilizing the inside of your grill, killing off any mold spores or bacteria. After an hour, close the bottom vent all the way. 10 minutes later, close the top vent all the way. Now let the grill cool down completely. When you open it up, you'll see that most of that mess has turned into a fine white ash. Now that the burn off is complete, it's time to tear it down and really clean it. Step 2. Tear down. We're going to tear down the Kamado Joe in a way that captures all that fine white ash. Begin by putting on some disposable gloves. This is a messy job. This is a stiff brush that I bought at an auto parts store, and it's perfect for this job. We're going to start by brushing off both sides of the deflector plates. Don't use your dirty grill brush for this job. You just spent an hour cleaning your grill, so there's no point in using a dirty brush to put all that grease right back on. Use a stiff brush to clean off the top of the cooking grates. Then turn them over and brush the backside. Now remove the accessory rack and the divide and conquer rack. Use that stiff brush to knock off white ash and any stubborn bits of carbon on all of those components. Next, use the brush to clean off the ring holding the firebox together, as well as the firebox ceramic walls. Remove any remaining charcoal, then take out the ash basket and brush it off. Now brush off the firebox walls. Remove the ring and then carefully remove each ceramic wall and place it on a soft surface like an old towel. Finally, remove the firebox bottom, the steel ash drawer, and the drawer bottom.
Now, I want you to see what's underneath this thing. If I lift it straight up, look at the pile of ash that is inside. So this is the problem with the Kamado Joe drawer system. Ash builds up all along here and eventually it just chokes everything out. So I'm going to, when we rebuild this, I'm going to abandon this particular tool and I'm going to do something different. And I'll show you what and why when we reassemble.
Now that everything is out, use that stiff brush to knock off any remaining ash from inside the dome and the base. There is going to be a lot of it. Now use a wad of clean, dry paper towels to remove any fine dust from inside the dome and the base. Use the ash tool to remove as much as possible through the bottom vent. Then use a shop vac with a brush attachment to remove the remaining ash and debris from the bottom and the walls of the lid and base. I use a shop vac with a HEPA bag inside because I don't want this ash all over my garage next time I turn it on. Now use the shop vac with the brush attachment to clean the firebox base all the way around and both sides of the firebox wall plates and retainer ring. The point is you want everything clean. Ash is a moisture magnet. As the temperature and humidity fluctuate all winter, that remaining ash is going to become damp. Moisture creates the perfect damp home for mold and mildew, even after a clean burn. A clean and dry grill does not grow mold. Step 3, reassembly. Now that everything is clean, let's put it back together. Start by placing the firebox bottom in the center with the opening aligned with the bottom vent. I've decided to remove the factory ash drawer in favor of the kick ash can. I don't like the amount of ash that leaks past the wings of the drawer bottom. By replacing it with the kick ash can, I eliminate that problem and dramatically improve airflow because I've also eliminated the drawer with those little holes.
So I would install the kick ash bucket only if your Kamado Joe is sitting on concrete or brick or something that's non-flammable, as mine is. If, however, your Kamado Joe is sitting on a composite deck or a wood deck that is flammable, you don't want to be doing this. The Big Green Egg has a wide open area like this as well, but they have a secondary screen that slides and prevents any hot coals from coming out. And Kamado Joe does not have that. So note of caution, you don't want to have this wide open on a flammable deck without the factory ash drawer.
I've also decided to replace the factory ash basket with the kick ash basket. Watch my other video on why I made that decision. Carefully place each of the firebox wall panels into the bottom on top of the firebox base. Now for the tricky part, installing that metal retainer ring. All of the individual firebox wall pieces must be pulled together into a circle in order to install the band. Then the band holds everything in that position. The challenge is that it can take 6 hands to hold everything in place while the band is installed. Guess what? It can be done by one person, and here's how. Grab 6 big screwdrivers. They can be flat or Phillips, it doesn't matter. Now tip one of the walls forward toward the center and slip a screwdriver behind it. Repeat that with the remaining pieces. The screwdrivers will hold the ceramic pieces in place while you attach the retaining ring. Carefully press the ring down over each of the plates one at a time. Make sure that it's firmly seated all the way around. After the ring is seated, I like to use the angled end of a small crowbar to go around the ring and gently pull each wall plate forward while pressing down on the ring. Make sure that the notches in the retaining ring are at the 12, 3, 6, and 9 o'clock positions. If not, just carefully rotate the ring and then press down again to make sure it's seated. Never force the ring and never use a mallet or a hammer. Step 4, gasket and band check. Now that the inside is clean, let's check a few other key components. Over time, the nuts on the metal bands, side tables, and handle work themselves loose. A loose band can cause the lid to go out of alignment, and a misaligned lid means your gasket won't seal right. That leads to air leaks, which in turn make temperature control impossible. Just go around the grill and check each one of those 22 nuts on the upper and lower bands. Also check the nuts around the latch. Make sure they're all snug and secure.
So the last thing we want to check are these 2 screws that hold the top and bottom bands together. To do this, you need an 8mm Allen wrench and a 17mm end wrench. And we're not trying to torque these down. We're just trying to make sure that they're snug. All right, that one took maybe 1/8 of a turn. And this one, well, a little bit more than that. This one was loose.
Also check the screws at the lower vent. This is a simple bit of annual maintenance that a lot of people forget, and now is the perfect time to do it. Next, inspect your gasket. Run your fingers along the top and bottom gasket. Look for any spots that are frayed, peeling, or completely flat. A good gasket is what gives you that perfect airtight seal. If yours is looking tired, now's the best time to replace it. Step 5. Ensuring airflow. Now that the grill is clean, we don't want to seal it up tight, even under a cover. Any tiny bits of moisture trapped in there will cause condensation, and that's all mold needs to take hold. So you need to maintain airflow. Leave your vents cracked open just a little. After your grill has been reassembled and you're ready to cover it, open the bottom vent about 1/2 inch. Then slide the top vent open about 1/4 inch. A small but constant circulation of air is what you want. The clean interior gives mold nothing to eat, the lack of ash gives moisture nowhere to hide, and the open vents keep air from ever getting stagnant enough for mold to grow. Step 6. The protective cover. Leaving your Kamado Joe exposed to rain, snow, freezing rain, and ice is asking for trouble. Moisture can seep into the ceramics. If it freezes, it expands, and that expansion can cause tiny fractures. And over time, those little cracks can turn into big structural problems. Moisture can also freeze the lid shut, and if you try to force it open, you can easily rip the gasket or crack the ceramic dome. The first line of defense against the winter weather is the cover, and not just any cover. A plastic tarp is not a cover. The answer is a high-quality cover, and it needs 2 key things. Number 1, it has to be waterproof, and number 2, it has to be breathable. Waterproofing keeps rain and snow out, and being breathable lets any condensation that might form under the cover escape. When you put the cover on, make sure it fits snugly and cinch the strap on the bottom so it won't blow away in a storm. Of course, storing your grill in a sheltered spot like a garage or a covered patio is best. So let's recap the 6 keys to a perfectly winterized Kamado Joe grill. 1. Use a high heat deep clean to incinerate all the gunk. 2. Tear it down and remove every single speck of ash. 3. Put it back together. 4. Tighten the bands and check the gasket. 5. Crack the vents for airflow and to prevent condensation. 6. Use a quality breathable cover to protect it from the elements. Hey, if you liked the video, please subscribe and turn on notifications. I'll see you next time on Austin's Kamado Joe Masterclass.